Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Edmund, for the introduction. Such an interesting session with very prestigious audience. The only challenge I'll be facing today is to manage time. To start with the very aspiring and interesting topic about shaping UAE strategy. And you know that UAE has followed large leaping steps towards an evolution in all development patterns that is for the world to benchmark and look forward to copy and to record. Certainly water has been always the center stage of sustainability and sustainable development. It's very important, not only because of the necessity of independence on water for all various aspects of development, of the unprecedented evolution that the UAE has witnessed, but furthermore, because of the tight relationship between water and energy. To discuss this very interesting topic further, I'd like firstly to invite to the stage His Excellency Saif Saeed Al Qubaisi, a visionary leader, one of the senior managers in Abu Dhabi government. He's a member of the Infrastructure and Environment Committee of the Executive Council. He's also a board member of the Abu Dhabi Quality and Conformity Council. He joined RSP since 2005, and he previously used to be working with the General Secretariat of the Executive Council. Please welcome me with a round of applause for His Excellency Saif Al Qubaisi. Your Excellency, it's such an honor and a privilege to have you today with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, and it's my pleasure to be with you all here and take you through that shaping the UAE water strategy.
To commence our one-to-one discussion session with the Regulation Supervision Bureau, one of the founders of the transformation of the water and electricity sector that occurred back in 1999, which set the path forward not only for the players in the region, but I dare to say even on international scale. We know that the IPP model that is being created by the sector then is still followed by the major investors worldwide. And we know that the Regulation Supervision Bureau has helped in a crucial way in setting the path forward and shaping the sector as we know of today from a regulatory point of view. My first question to you, Your Excellency, is we know that the country is moving towards more sustainable approach in relation to the use of water. How your organization, RSP, is helping to drive this policy forward?
We are supporting the government long-term sustainability through many initiatives at the Regulation and Supervision Bureau. Through the price-controlled company, we drive the sector efficiency by allowing them to have some demand-side management incentive schemes which allow them to drive efficiency at the network level as well as at the customer level. This is not the only thing we are doing with the sector. Also, we are promoting them to carry out, which is Tershid, to be in touch with the customers and carry out these campaigns in order to educate them about the importance of the water, because as you all of you know that not all the customers is paying the true cost of the water. The water is a precious element, and it's heavily, and the sector is heavily subsidized. So decoupling the energy from, or decoupling the electricity from the water is one of the long-term initiatives for the sector, and to reduce the energy, because energy has a cost. There is a cost to produce water. Sure. And promoting the target for other technologies like reserve osmosis is one of the long-term objectives. We are working closely with the sector to drive that at the production level. At the transmission level, we are working also with them to reduce the pumping cost, because you need to pump the energy from one location to another through pumping or using high elevated storage through gravity systems. And also with the distribution company, we are working with them with different initiatives to reduce losses in the water and the network by implementing many leakages programs.
That's very interesting. So the vision tackles the entire spectrum, covering the whole value chain. So from one end, holistically and strategically, we look at the decoupling of energy and water because of the diversification of the energy portfolio, and perhaps because of the variance seasonally between water and energy demands. On the other end, you did mention about the various contributors to the sector, including the transmission and distribution part. Part of the strategy is addressing, as you've touched upon, the what's so-called low-hanging fruit, the energy optimization and customer awareness. Could you please further elaborate on that, maybe for the audience to better understand how crucial it is, Abu Dhabi and also for the UAE, to look at the low-hanging fruit, the energy optimization, the recovery devices when it comes to water, for example, the use of water-saving fittings, and also looking at the customer awareness, because eventually the customer plays an important role, realizing how precious water resources are. It's the most expensive commodity, and it's essential for the generations to come.
As you are all aware that devices is available in the market, but in order to promote these schemes or labeling a scheme for the faucet and devices, we need to work with different stakeholders like Quality and Conformity Council. ISMA is the one also who put the standard specifications for these type of devices. Devices could play a part in one aspect, but also the education and the awarenesses at the customer level is very important. So the customer at their houses, at their places, also need to ensure they are using the water in a wise manner, not especially for the irrigation or washing and other type of uses. For that, we carried out a couple of campaigns. When the bill starts, there is the green and red band in order to ensure the customer consumption is being used wisely. So this was the start, and then followed by different campaigns at different events at different times with the schools. Also, there was a bit of interaction was there, and there is interaction through the majlis available within the social community in order to make the people aware about the importance and the usage of water.
My final question to you, Your Excellency, is as a senior member of Abu Dhabi government leadership, what would be the key messages you would like to tell the audience here on this stage on how we can all collaboratively and collectively, various entities, governmental, private, work cohesively to better shape the UAE's water strategy in the future?
I think there is no doubt all of us is aware the water is a precious resource, and it's a costly commodity. So we all need to work together, put all the efforts, whether we are as a regulator or the companies as an operator, and or ADWI as a major stakeholders, and other entities like municipality, urban planning council, environmental agency. All of us need to work together toward these initiatives. And one of the issues we need to focus in is to improve our collaboration and cooperation toward that objective, to make that happen at different levels, at different positions.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time, and looking forward to, as you mentioned, a more collaborative, more cohesive, more synchronized synergies amongst the stakeholders into shaping a better UAE's water strategy in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and it's my pleasure being with you this morning. Thank you.
Now, allow me to welcome to the stage our panelists, starting with a familiar face who's always joining us and adding great value, Alan Thompson, Managing Director of Abu Dhabi Sewerage Services Company, one of the pioneers, has been the Managing Director of ADSSC since the establishment of the company in 2005, if I'm not mistaken. And his previous experience involved senior roles in many reputed organizations, such as Thames Water, West of Scotland Water, many others. Welcome on board, Alan. Secondly, I would like to welcome Aisha. Aisha Saeed Al-Shihi, she's the Director of Water Production in the Federal Electricity and Water Authority. She has a master's in groundwater engineering and water resource management, and she has a bachelor of chemical engineering. And as our chairman, Dr. Sultan, says, chemical engineers are the best. Sometimes tend to disagree, but okay. Then finally, I'd like to welcome on stage Engineer Asim Al-Mulla. He's manager of water department of the Sharjah Electricity and Water Authority. He's graduated from University of New Haven in USA with a bachelor degree in chemical engineering. 2 cheers again for chemical engineers. He received master's degree from the American University of Sharjah, and now he's working on his PhD in engineering management from University of Sharjah. All the best of luck. It's a very interesting topic, and welcome all on board. Good morning. Starting with Alan, we know that the water recycling is a very important, a crucial part of the water supply system within any development, within any nation. And we know that Abu Dhabi Sewerage Services Company has been doing a very important role in that regard. Could you please update us on what does this mean for wastewater treatment and water reuse? When we talk about shaping UAE strategy, when we talk about the cohesion, the synergies between the various entities, when we talk about looking at the holistic water supply chain, what does this mean for wastewater treatment and water reuse?
Thank you very much, and thank you again for asking me. A familiar face, but hopefully not going to bore everyone while I'm here.
Not at all.
The Sewage Services Company, since I've been there, one of our main objectives has been to recycle and see the reuse of 100% of our treated water. Over the years, we've put various scenarios and options to do this. We, first of all, achieved it in Elaine about 5 years ago, where the Elaine treated water is now recycled at levels very close to 100%. You'll never achieve 100% all the time, but we are certainly as close as can be, and I'm pleased to say that continued demand in Elaine for our water will mean that if growth happens, and we see that happening in Elaine all the time, we will be able to recycle the water that comes to us for the foreseeable future. Our biggest problem, however, has been in Abu Dhabi, where currently we are recycling 100%, but seeing only between 50 and 60% of that being reused. So the good news, I'm delighted to say, is that Abu Dhabi government have supported us wholeheartedly in a scheme which will deliver 3 new pipelines into areas of forestry in Abu Dhabi, and that will bring us up to very close to 100%.
Very, very
so, you know, fantastic news. Yeah. We've been a long time getting there. But everyone has been supporting the idea of 100% reuse, especially in an area of water shortage and, you know, very, very low rainfall. So that means that our water will be able to replace groundwater and desalinated water and reduce the need for demand on that side, or allow it to be utilized in a better way.
That's great news, Alan, and we salute ADSSC for all the hard efforts that have been undertaken the past few years. We know that the challenges with the infrastructure when it comes to transmission has been critical throughout the path before, but we know that there are promising future moving ahead, and we know that ADDC has always thrived on excellence of performance, and I'm sure that with the full recovery of all our water recycled at higher standards to be utilized for irrigation and forestry, would be a major player into shaping Abu Dhabi's and UAE water strategy, more dependent on water recycling, less dependence on extensive water desalination and very precious non-replenishable underground water. Thank you very much, Alan, for the feedback. Highly appreciated. Now, moving on to Engineer Aisha, the question is, how do you see the opportunities for improving services as a utility service provider? Are there technologies or approaches that you're looking at to incorporate in your facilities, moving towards more sustainable management of our water resources?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. عاشا السيد الشحي, Director Water Production from Federal Electricity Water Authority. First, I have to mention that Federal Electricity Water Authority cover the northern emirates of the UAE, part of Ajman, part of the Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, Umm Al Qawain, and Fujairah. And this one, we have a long-term strategy for coping the demand for the northern emirates till 2030. On this one, we have built a reverse osmosis plant where it is more economic and reliable to operate. Till this stage, FIWA, O&M department, are running and operating and maintaining the desalination plant. While for the coming future, we will give the chance for IWB, the concept of the IWB, to be share and to be operate our the project because of more economic and more reliable. We already assigned our coming project to cope that demand. For the strategy and upcoming, we are mainly operating using the concept of reverse osmosis because of low cost, as mentioned in the introduction previously, because the best choice in the coming future in the technology, reverse osmosis is the dominant rather than the thermal desalination because it's more economic, more reliable in the operating. We are now in the FIWA operating most of the plant 90% by reverse osmosis. We have 2 desalination plant also by thermal desalination plant, MAD. The coming project, all the desalination will be reverse osmosis where it is the best option for the Federal Electricity and Water Authority.
Thank you very much. And indeed, reverse osmosis is maybe the most suitable in this region and the most growing desalination technology. Membrane desalination is the most growing, and it is very promising because of the evolution of the technology that promises to optimize performance, increase efficiency, and reduce costs. Finally, moving to Isam Mullah. Isam, could you please tell the audience about any updates on your organization, such a prestigious organization of SIWA? You're working on strategy and planning that would be of an interest in relation to shaping UAE's future to better sustainable management of our water resources.
Assalamu alaikum. Let me start with the good news. We know the demand for water is always increasing and the resources are limited. But this is not only our problem. The leaders and the president of almost 200 countries, they met and they set what is called global goals for sustainable development. And 3 main elements of this is related to us. The first one is item number 6, which is clean water and sanitation for all. And number 7 is affordable energy for all. And I think number 17, which is doing business through partnership with the public and private sectors. So as far as the water, they set targets until 2030 to become sustainable. Now, as far as SIWA is concerned, we are always trying to be sustainable through innovation and creativity. So this is the word. You always should be creative. As far as demand, the normal way is that you estimate how is the future demand, and then you plan from where you will get this extra water and where you will build it, which technology you will use. But SIWA, we took another method, which is why not conserve what we have and utilize it in most efficient way? So for the next 3 years, we are planning to reduce our consumption by 20%, okay? And that is mainly through leakage management from the main line and the distribution. And the second one is through installing smart devices, like in government buildings and mosques. We will control their consumption. We will tell them that, okay, your consumption is 500 gallons per day. We will only give you 500 gallons. That's it. If you develop a leak, internal leak, or you wasted more water at that day, you will not have the water to have the waste. So this is one other approach. The third one is to work with the customers. You know, we stopped this monthly or 2 times a year campaign that we do for conservation. Now we are doing it as part of our daily activities. Like every day, there is a visit to school, kindergarten, university, even visit to the villas and the communities to sit with them and explain to them what is conservation and how to utilize it best. And for their help, we also started a small commercial section that sells the conservative fittings at a very economical price. Because many people will say, okay, we know that these fittings will save us 30% of the bill, but where can we find it? Okay, so now we are also giving them this solution. You can come at any of our centers and we will show you the fittings, you can see it, you can examine it, and it will save you almost 30%. So that's it, thank you.
Thank you very much, Hussam. I need to repeat the phrase, I need to quote it. Innovation and creativity, it's key. And I think all the players, the various entities, authorities, companies within the sector realize that this is the key for the future. We know that the partnership with the private sector is always key. More dependence on innovations of technologies, adopting R&Ds, collaboration with our research institution is also key. We are all together joining forces to shape a better future of our UAE's water strategy moving forward. Thank you all for attending such an interesting session. Unfortunately, we have to cut it short despite many interesting topics that we can further discuss because of time limitations. Thank you all for participating and looking forward to seeing you also interact with the audience later on. And then back to you, Edmond. Thank you.